headed to Bussy Woods today. Current weather is about 64, 65 degrees, something like that. And I decided not to wear the sweatshirt today, so you can see my beer arms here. Let's hope that wasn't a mistake. We'll find out. I think the temperature is supposed to go as high as 70 degrees, but that won't happen until I'm way over and done and back home. So I think we'll be around 65, 66, 67, something like that. Should be okay. And what prompted me not to wear something was I wore a sweatshirt. I did some gardening work again today. Put down a little bit more pre-emergent on the lawn. That's the weed control. We had some rain on Saturday, maybe Friday and Saturday, I think. And so that should have soaked in some of the first pre-emergent that I put down. But I thought that maybe it needs another bag. Last year I put down 2 bags. This year, the guy at the Ace Hardware store who sold it to me said, based on my size of my property, all I needed was 1. But hey, you know, 2 didn't hurt it. I figured if it didn't hurt it last year, let's see if it doesn't hurt it this year. And I think we have a better chance of controlling it if we have a little bit more down on there. But you know, the thing with weed control, you could also burn out your lawn too if you put too much stuff down. So we'll see. These bags are not that huge. I mean, if you bought stuff like Scott's, I bought something called Jonathan Green. And if you bought like Scott's, those things come in huge bags. And I know I've even put down 2 of those huge bags in the past. Didn't really do much because I didn't understand the whole concept of pre-emergent weed control. But just to recap it for those who might be interested, most of you probably aren't, but you got to get this stuff down. You got to get this stuff down before your ground temperature reaches 50 degrees 3 days in a row. If it happens that way, it might be too late. Now, temperatures have been fairly warm lately. Fairly warm. I'm talking 60s. But you know, during the days of the rain, it had dropped back down in temperature. So I think I'm still safe. I mean, in worst case, I put some stuff down and it's not going to work. But you know, give it a try. It's better than seeing the weeds later on. So. Now you might recognize this path we're going right now, the streets. This is the same roads that we took to get to Prospect Heights Trail. But of course we're not going to go in that direction. We're going to go head off to Schaumburg, Illinois and Elk Grove. I think Bussy Woods is technically considered Elk Grove. Now you might be wondering how the battery is doing. Because we talked about the fact that my battery cut out on me twice on that one ride. Well, I've got that battery running right now. And that is the battery that we have on the rear rack. That's the one that I always take off and I charge it inside the house. The one that's in the triangle of the battery, or in the triangle of the bike, that's the one I was riding to get back last time. That one has not had any issue. I still kind of think it's not really the battery. I think it was more so the connectors or the cabling, one of those 2 things. So what I did is I went out and I purchased some Dielectric Gel. Just went to Menards and picked it up. It was in the auto department. A lot of people put this stuff down for spark plugs. So dielectric gel is not a conductive material. It's actually to stop conductivity. And but if you put it on the metal parts, it helps cut down any corrosion that might happen. And You know, I always kind of wondered about this stuff because, you know, if it's not to be conductive and you put it on metal parts, then is it that the metal parts won't conduct anymore? But apparently just the rubbing of the parts next to each other conducts the electricity again, but it doesn't allow conductivity in other areas. So supposedly it's better for the spark plugs and stuff. I think a lot of them put it on the rubber parts of the spark plug. So anyways, I put mine on the metal parts, and it doesn't seem to affect it because, you know, I have the gel in there right now, and obviously it's conducting electricity because I've got power going to my bike. But my hope is that this gel will keep any corrosion and dirt and dust and junk like that off of the metal parts. So this stuff is not really, well, I guess it is relatively cheap, but I couldn't find a small amount of it. So I had I don't know what it was, 3 ounces? I don't know. And, you know, a tube about this size, okay? It was like $8 at Menards, and I'll never use that much stuff. I mean, even if I coated everything I have in the world, it probably wouldn't use it all up. So yeah, more than I need. Now I guess I could have ordered that on Amazon. It was like $3.95 or something. But then you gotta, you know, if you don't have Prime, you gotta buy at least $25 worth of stuff, and then it's a small little packet. It's real small. So I said, well, I'll just bite the bullet and get the big one. So yeah, my legs are still a little tired. I seem to be going out on these rides after walking a whole bunch, putting down that Wii control. So you might see me throttling and pedaling at the same time again, as I usually do. What time is it right now? Leaning forward here, it's at 11:08. I actually wanted to get out at least around this time, even though the weather will be warmer later, because I don't want to really hit the lunch traffic that hits the roads, you know. I want to get out a little bit earlier or a little bit later, but I didn't want to be too late either, otherwise it just kind of eats up the day. So 11:08 and we're back out here. So anyways, I appreciate all you guys watching the videos. I've noted a major uptick in views since the e-bike rides have started up again. Thank you guys. I realize now that the channel has turned more into an e-bike channel than a knee replacement channel. But I don't forget about my knee replacement patient viewers. So just as a reminder for those who watch both, the knee replacement videos will come out on Wednesdays. And my knee is getting better. You know, I bought this bike specifically to help rehab my knee, and I think it's done its job. You know, all that riding last year, I had like 2,600 miles from April through December of last year. And it's really helped it out quite a bit. So now, here's an interesting thing. You know, everyone seems to be buying their e-bikes right now and using the discount codes and stuff like that I have inside the description of my videos. It's actually not a code. It's a link to Rad's website, the ordering website. And the minute you click on that and you place your order, it should give you $50 off. Now, it won't work for people who have already bought Rad power bikes in the past, all right? It only works for those who are new to buying a Rad power bike. So an update on that, the winds are popping up again. Oh, there goes my battery again. Something is definitely up that pops this thing off. All right, I'm gonna have to pull over. Something is definitely popping that off. It could be. All right, I'm gonna turn the power off to the battery. I'm just reaching behind me here. There's a power switch. I'm gonna power it off, power it back on, and it kicks in. So I don't think it's the connectors. It's got to be something in the switch. Let me power it off again. Power it back on again. It's got to be something in the switch of the battery. You know, I have two different triangle batteries that have different switches. And this one here, I'm just going to leave this, I'm going to leave the bag semi-open there. One of them has a toggle switch, and the other one has a push button switch. The push button switch is the one that's having the problems, it seems like. I'm guessing at this point it's the push button switch that's kicking on and off if I hit a bump or something. I'll bet you that's what it is. I'm not sure how to fix that, short of opening it up and then disassembling it. See, it just kicked off again. I'm gonna reach back my hand here, see if I can power it off, power it back on, kick it back in again. But it's not enough to actually keep it going. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going. Yeah, it's the battery. It's the battery switch. Now I could contact the manufacturer again, I guess, and say, hey, there's something up with my battery switch. Because if I kick it off and kick it on, power up again, I'm back up again, see? So I'm just reaching behind me. Yeah, see, it's off again. I think it's the switch. It is the battery. It's not the connectors. All right, I gotta get off for a second here. I'm gonna switch out my battery. Let me show you guys what it is here. Hold on. Sorry, I had to reach over. Let me disconnect this. Okay, let me show you this. You see this button here? It's a push button. I think it's this. I think this is faulty. So, all right, so if I kick it on, okay, I power up, hopefully you guys can see this, it'll work, okay? The question is, how long does it work before it pops out again, see? So first thing you do is, a good learning time, I'm gonna power this thing off, okay? And I might as well zip the bag back up because I'm not gonna use this thing. And then I'm gonna disconnect it, stick it back in here. That's where I store the cable part when I'm not using it. Don't think it's these Anderson plugs either. It's not. It's the power switch. Then I reach over here, the back here. I put a dummy plug here. See, that keeps the dirt out of there. I disconnect this cable down here, and then I connect this battery to it, and then I put this back. Dogs are always trying to get me. Stick that back in there. So now this battery is actually running. I can just power that on, and you'll see here I'm back up and running. So yeah, I think it's the power switch. I probably have to contact the manufacturer. The problem is if I have to ship it back to them to get it fixed, that's going to be a problem because the cost of the shipping, because it's hazardous materials, could be quite expensive. Or I open it up myself and try to repair it myself. All right, let's get back going here. So sad, yeah. It's the power switch. And I mentioned before in the past, last year, that I didn't like this switch. I felt that the regular toggle switch was better than the push button switch. Now, for any of you guys, if you recently purchased one of these unit pack power triangle batteries, let me know, did you get a toggle switch or did you get a push button switch on yours? If it's an older unit, it's probably the toggle switch. If it's a newer unit, it's probably the push button. All right. I didn't buy these batteries that far apart. It was only like a month or two apart. but I got the two different types of switches. Now I know the company is kind of proud of this push button switch because it looks cool, but really a toggle switch works better. I think what might happen is I may have to open up the battery case and then put some deoxit contact cleaner or something on the switch. I'm really hesitant in doing that because I know that, you know, the potential for battery fires and things like that is always there. I don't really want to be messing with this thing, but I may have no choice. Alright, I gotta take a left turn here. Let this guy go. The thing is a lot of times cars will stop because they don't want to run you over, but then they just slow us down even further. So I think if they just went forward and did what they're supposed to do, follow the rules of the road, I came to a stop, they should go forward. But they always want to give you the ability to go first, but I usually try to wave them on, because they can move quicker than I can get started, really. I always wave to the police officers, if you notice that. And I don't know if you saw it, but he waved back. It's just me. It's probably from my own contact with police. Well, not that kind of contact. I used to work with the police. Now these guys don't know that, but it's just how it is. You'll find too that most of the police officers, if you wave hi to them, they'll wave back. Hopefully they don't think you're flagging them down or something, but they can tell. I think the thing is that if you stay friendly with the police officers that you see, if you ride the same areas, if you see the same cops, yeah, you know, they'll be there to help you if you need them. It's always been my theory behind it. And most of the cops are pretty good. I mean, there's always, you know, some bad ones. I've had some that, you know, pull you over to yell at you and whatever, and even when you're not at fault. I had one cop actually pulled me over. I was going through an intersection where they were controlling who went first, who didn't go first, and car in front of me went, and so it was my turn, and so I decided to go, and he pulls me over and yells at me, holds me for about 15 minutes, takes my driver's license, and then when he came back, he told me to, you know, stay off to the side. When he was all done controlling traffic, he just handed back my driver's license and didn't say anything and walked away. And I think it's only because the other cop who was there noticed that he must have told him there's nothing that this guy did wrong. So he didn't say one word, just gave me back my driver's license and went on his way. But he detained me for 15 minutes, of course. So yeah, you have some who have a little bit of power issues going on. But others are fine. You know, there's every individual. Now, it's been a while since I've been to Bussy, since last year. I'm fully expecting that this will just look like a bunch of tree branches. But Bussy Lake, I want to see what the lake looks like, of course. I've fished out of there. I've never had any luck, really. Well, okay, I caught one sucker. That was about it. Other than that, I really had no luck. I haven't had luck fishing much at all, quite frankly. My best luck in fishing has been salmon fishing out of Lake Michigan, but I've only had luck when I was up in Wisconsin doing it. Never had any luck in the state of Illinois. Yeah, so what am I going to do about this battery? Let me know in the comments what you guys would do. Would you ship it back to them? Would you open it up yourself and fix it yourself? What would you do? Shipping could cost about $60 to ship it to them, and then who knows, they'll probably end up charging me for the shipping back to me. So what, I'm going to pay $120 for a switch on a battery that was only like $400 something. I think it was like $410, $420, something like that with tax. I don't know. I may just open it up myself and see what happens. But I've got to get it fixed, because if I don't get it fixed, then I can't go distance. Even doing this Bussy Woods, I am kind of risking the distance. See, since this is the new battery, since we kicked it in, I can keep track of my mileage because the trip meter only resets when you turn off the battery. So since this is the fresh battery that's in the Triangle, I've got 1.8 miles right now. So I'll just keep an eye on my actual travel. The sad part is I don't know how much distance I've ridden to get to this point, because I got to add that distance to it too. But I think I should be able to ride at least once around Bussy without a problem, and then head back. I was hoping to ride a little bit longer, but not with this battery kicking in and out like that. Now, to conserve the battery power, I should throttle less. If I throttle less, I don't use as much wattage. If you watch your wattage meter down here, I'm at 375 watts when I'm pedaling on pedal assist level 3. Now, if I wanted to save a little bit more on that, I could drop down to pedal assist level 2, but yeah, it's too slow for me. I gotta move a little quicker. So here, when I go to let's look at the pedal assist levels. I'm gonna go down to 1. Now this says USB because I have my thing plugged in here. We're doing 3876 watts, something like that. We go to pedal assist level 2. We go to 152. We're going pretty slow right now. All right, let me throttle up. I usually throttle up after I stop a little bit. It kind of gets it going a little bit easier for your knees. So we're about 375 watts when we're in pedal assist level 3. So if I stay at pedal assist level 3, don't use the throttle that much, I'll save in power. If I use the throttle, I usually pump it all the way down. And I think, okay, let's just do it. 743, 734, 738. So you can see it's going to eat up, you know, like double the amount of if you were just the pedal. So if you want to conserve your battery, don't throttle. Or just use the throttle, you know, to get yourself going. And then after that, don't throttle. Alright, I gotta take a left at this street. Alright, so we just gotta wait for some traffic to go by. So here you'll see I will hit the throttle hard, because that saves my knees. Alright, then I could pull off if I want, and then just pedal. And then going into turns, I will throttle into the turn. these are just some things you learn, you know, after riding for so much. I find that throttling into the turn, throttling when we start up from a dead stop, makes it a lot easier. Now it says bike route, use right lane of sidewalk. So they don't want you on the streets here. Okay, so I remember this. They want you on the sidewalks on this road. They don't want you on the street. You always got to watch out for cars that might pull out fast from you. Okay, so gotta go this way, but the problem is these buttons are all the way up here. So you gotta go up, push the button. I'm doing some type of work here. So you guys see that? Big hole in the ground. Good time for some water. I remember this is kind of a long light. They usually give the main road more time, right? You give the side roads less time. Alright, so this looks like this is going to have to be more of a leisurely ride today. I mean, I could go to level 4, which uses 557 watts, just to keep myself moving, or I could drop down. Let's do this. I'm going to drop down to 6th gear at level 3. Then it doesn't feel so hard on my knees. Now, my legs are moving faster. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting any quicker, but my legs are moving easier. So what do? About 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist level 3. That's usually what I get when I'm pedaling on level 3. 6th gear, level 3, about 15 miles an hour. You know, for the most part, that's plenty for most people. It's still faster than many other people ride a regular bike, so you never know. But I always wave to the people. That's why the guy's waving back to me. Some people wave back at you, some people won't. Now here's where I find this hard. If you got to make a right turn, I like using my right hand to signal, but I need that right hand to throttle when I turn. This is why it's always difficult to do a hand signal for a right turn for me. Alright, we're going up a hill a little bit. If I'm going up a hill, I'll use the throttle while pedaling, because that does make it easier. Or you can just use your pedal assist levels and pedal assist level higher. But if you bumped it all the way up to 5, that's the same thing as throttling all the way. So I find it easier just to throttle like this on my right hand and then let go. Then I'm back down to level 3, right? I do find that most of the time I'm on gear 6. It's about the cadence that I like to do when I'm pedaling. If I'm going really fast, level 6 is not going to cut it. I'd have to go to 7. And even 7 sometimes is not enough. Then you wish you had a level 8 for the gear. This is why some people change out their chain rings, get a bigger one in there so they can get a little bit more out of it. But no, I'm not going to do that kind of surgery. Now, this is actually the same way we go if we go to ride to go get Chinese food. I did that last year. I took my bike, rode to the Chinese carryout, locked up the bike and got some food, got back on the bike and rode home. By the way, for those who have been watching my food reviews, I did a food review of the Chinese carryout. That'll be coming up on one of the, I think it's going to be on a Foodie Tuesday. Not sure which Foodie Tuesday. It might be a couple weeks before you see it. I have several of the reviews already done. So you'll be seeing those things eventually. It's not done on the same week that it comes out. Sometimes it's done a little bit earlier. I started these things earlier, so that makes me way in advance of everything. Now, these guys are crossing and it's still a red light. That's not smart to do. You're better off to wait. Okay, now for this one I'm going to go up on the sidewalk. I've done this before. It just kind of gets me off the main street. A little safer. Yeah, the thing is, you know, if there's people on the sidewalk, they hate it when a bike comes down. I know I would. I don't blame them, really. But I'm also looking into my own safety as well. So if you're on a sidewalk, just be aware, be careful, you know, be courteous. See if the police officers are going to pull me over for being on the sidewalks. Get off the sidewalk. Well, I don't see him in the rear view mirror, so I guess he didn't care. You guys do that? You pass a police car? Do you look in your rearview mirror to see if they're coming after you? I do that all the time. They're usually not coming after me. Go up by the sidewalks when we get past this. Let's do it over here. This is a little harder. It's an incline to go up. Woods at this point. And make sure these cars that are turning don't turn right in front of me, and they usually do. Alright, we have made it. Well, okay, we're not technically in Bussy Woods, but once we're at this point, we're on our way there. You can see it's kind of a bike lane already. Okay, what's happening here? This has got a major bump right here. So we're gonna have to stop. I think we better walk over this thing. I don't know what they did here. Got some it's almost like pallets. What an ordeal. Alright, I'm going to take you guys a little bit into Bussy Woods, and then I'll call it a day. And I'll continue on that ride on a second video. I don't want these things being too long. And, you know, we lost a lot of time dealing with the battery, getting off the bike, dealing with walking over the top of that pallet. Let's go to gear 7. Drop back down. Morning. So yeah, Bussy Woods, not too impressive this time of the year. It is a bunch of sticks, really. Just a bunch of branches. Much more impressive when everything's greened out. Hey, you guys ever see the Blair Witch Project? That movie, do you remember that movie? Kind of shot handheld on a camcorder type of thing. This is what it reminds me of. You know, these guys are out in the like the forest preserves or something like that. I don't know where they were, and then, you know, it's kind of a horror movie, right? You know, when I see branches, I think of the Blair Witch Project. They made like a little stick figure out of some branches or some sticks or something, hanging off of a tree. I remember going to that movie at the movie theater. I think there was only maybe 5 people in the movie theater. It was a matinee. And when the movie was over with, somebody yells out, "This movie sucks!" The rest of us couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, it's not the kind of movie that that you expect to see, you know, handheld, like 8mm camcorder, shaky video, bad editing, you know. They were trying to make it look like these people were shooting it on their own, and then things happened to them, of course. It's a horror movie, of course, so. Oh well, whatever. Alright, so we are at Bussy at this point, I believe. Or parts of Bussy. You know, no matter what, I still find myself throttling. Now, Bussy Woods, I believe, is about 11 or 12 miles around. So if I just do it once, that's plenty. I should have plenty of battery power to get back. I think, depending whether I'm throttling or pedaling, each one of these batteries should get me somewhere close to at least 40 miles. So we got plenty of power, really. But being that this is the beginning of the season, I don't know if the batteries are fully primed up yet, so I'm not trusting I get full power yet until the battery's been used for a lot more. And I know for rad power bikes, they recommend that you every now and then charge the battery past the point of where the charger turns to a green light. I think the very first time out, they recommend that you charge it for like 12 hours, because sometimes that charge doesn't get to the farthest cells, and if you let it go, it charges all the way down to the farthest cells, because there's multiple cells inside your battery. So it's like looking at a whole bunch of AA batteries all connected up. Okay, so the charge gets to the ones in the front, but sometimes doesn't get to the ones in the back. So that long charging kind of allows that harder to get to the ones in the back. I didn't do that really with these batteries coming off of the winter months. I did do the 12-hour charge when I first got the battery though, last year. So because of that, I don't know whether I'm going to get 40-45 miles out of this battery. But I should probably do it though. It is kind of windy. I'm sure you hear the wind. I mean, I can't even hear myself talking again. How you doing? Now, Bussy Woods does have an area where there's elk, because this is an elk grove village and they have like an elk sanctuary. And we've seen the elk out here before. It's behind some fencing. We might be lucky, we might see it again today. Or actually the next time you watch Russ is Right, because I'm going to cut you guys off in a minute here. I think it's plenty long at this point. Anyways, I appreciate you guys following along up to now. Watch the next one. It'll be the continuation of this ride, where we actually go through the actual Bussy Woods. Now, many of you guys have seen this from last year, but if you're new, it'll probably be new to you. And then, of course, as the year goes on, and then all the trees are all got leaves on it, and everything's all green, it'll look a lot nicer out here. Anyways, appreciate it. If you're interested in following along, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the like button, share it with your friends. See you guys on the next ride.